Okay, let me show you how. Now, let me show you how a professional does a slate.
Okay.
All right, you're listening to episode 28 of the Stephen Boats Everything podcast. And the way we're laughing is because I just showed Jay Sheldon, like a proper film producer, director, extraordinaire, how I slate my videos.
Let me just give you a tip. Go this way.
Ah, yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
See?
Professional. You can see the...
Anything I can do to help.
Yeah, I can see the marketing budget going up. All right, this is episode 28. So earlier today, I had my friend Sim Tong, the comedian.
Funny guy.
Yeah, funny guy. So it happened like it's quite interesting. I went from a podcast where it was just me, one little dude in a dark room screaming into the dark abyss, to having like guests, and it's 2 a day. So this is like
Wow.
a stretch.
You're pushing it.
I'm pushing it. I don't know how much more I can take in terms of socializing, but we're all about pushing the limits here, right?
Well, let me just say I am such a fan. I'm such a fan.
I tend to appeal to serial killers, I think.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I've been a Stephen Bones fanboy since the beginning.
Yeah.
So.
All right. We've known each other like quite
Too long.
Too long, right? Yeah.
Many
and we
years,
met through like voiceovers.
I think it was voiceovers, yeah.
It was voiceovers. And I remember we actually kept bumping into each other and never worked with each other, right? I think that was the
Yes.
case. Yes.
I would see you passing in the night kind of thing. You were just done with yours, and I'd come in to do the English version or whatever.
Yeah. And one day, and the moment we started chatting, we just hit it off and said, okay,
It was a film, wasn't it? We'd do seafood.
Yeah, seafood. That was it. Yeah, seafood.
I think it was seafood.
The one that no one remembers.
Yeah. It's a good film, though.
It's all right.
It was an okay film, though. It was fun. Yeah.
It's not half bad.
And Insectables?
And I was...
Did you do Insectables?
I think I did a bit of it. I'm not sure. I cast it for you for sure.
I was.
But I knew that was like your favorite role of all time.
Well,
Venus von Trapp.
Yeah, I did Grandpa because I do all the old guys.
Yeah.
Because I'm old. But yeah.
Don't limit yourself, Jay.
Von Trapp was by far my favorite ever character to do. It was the best.
Okay, was that Von Trapp voice something that you stored?
No, you know what? Gavin Yap was directing,
yeah.
voice directing, and he said, imagine that you are the slimiest, worst child molester, pedophile on the planet.
Imagine.
Okay. Yeah, pure acting.
Pure acting.
Pure, okay?
Yeah.
So I just got that thought in my head and came up with what turned into Venus Flytrap, which was a lot of saliva and wet microphones and that.
Wet microphone. So that's the smell you love.
Yeah, so that's why.
They call it the Trail of Jane.
It's all there.
It's all there.
It's all there.
So, okay, like, I knew you through voiceover work, and my initial thought was like, okay, is this expat dude here.
Some white guy.
Some white guy here doing voiceover work. He's probably going to be here for a couple of years, and he's going to jump to the next Asian country, that kind of thing.
Like all of them.
Yeah, but then you stuck around, and then I found out, you were like getting to like producing and directing stuff. Because initially it was just voice directing.
Right.
And let's be honest, in Malaysia so far, voice directing is not exactly a career with infinite potential.
Not a lot of job opportunities.
Yeah, it's not a job. So, like, what did you do to sustain? What brought you here?
I had done radio
Yeah.
and television my whole life. From the time I was 18, I got my first job in radio, part-time. I did that for 20 over years.
And this was back home?
Back in the U.S., in Connecticut.
Connecticut, yeah.
Right. Which I always have to describe as that little state in between New York City and Boston. Because most people know New York and Boston, so we're like right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
But anyway, I had worked in television, radio there forever. Then moved to Key West in Florida, which is the southernmost point in the U.S. It's a little island. If you know, like, Florida and Miami and all that little island chain, that's the Florida Keys.
So
and
basically,
the last one.
Basically like Dexter.
Kind of, yeah. Very Dexter.
Key Lime Pie!
Yeah. In fact, Key Lime Pie is from Key West. Lived there, and when I moved there, they had one radio station. It was a little tiny thing with no jobs, and so I couldn't be in radio anymore or television. It's funny because growing up, I wanted to be a cop or a DJ in radio.
The cop.
I know.
Okay, we gotta explore that because
I know.
Usually someone wants to be like a radio DJ or like
Yeah.
Someone in a rock
Movie
band,
star or
somewhere.
whatever, yeah.
But yours was like enforcing the law or like radio.
Yeah. Go figure.
Yeah, but
Story of my life.
But what spurred you to want to?
Well, I don't
be a cop?
know.
Yeah.
My grandfather was a game warden, which is kind of like a cop for the wildlife.
For wildlife, right?
Yeah. And I always have a memory of looking up at him in his uniform with his gun, and it was like, my granddad, and that was cool.
Yeah.
But it was just something I really, really wanted to do. But the problem was this was the 70s. Yes, I'm that old. And you had to be, they had height and weight requirements. You had to be like 6 feet tall and X amount of pounds. And I was short and fat.
Wait,
like now.
There was height and weight requirements to join the police
to be a cop. Yes.
Wow.
And I was fat and short, and I could lose weight, but I couldn't grow any taller. I am what I am.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's just no way. I just didn't qualify. So fine. Advance 20 years later or more.
Yeah.
And we moved to Key West, and they had gotten rid of all the height and weight requirements. It was just if you could pass the test and the physical and the background check, then you could go apply.
And then all the robbers started dangling the money bags right above the cops, right? They couldn't reach for it.
So anyway, I applied and I got accepted and was a cop for 2 years, and then was
So you actually became a cop?
Yeah, in a uniform with a patrol car and all that stuff, with a gun on my hip and all that stuff.
So where did you get? Were you like a beat cop or? Like...
No, just a sheriff's deputy.
Sheriff's
deputy
deputy,
is what it
right.
is, because it was the county. You have in the U.S. we have the city, the state, the county, the state, and then the federal.
Okay.
And the county sheriff is, actually a separate branch of law enforcement. All work together and everything.
So in like a Malaysian context, you would be like the cop in Petaling Jaya kind of thing, or
more like Selangor.
Selangor, okay.
Like a Selangor cop. If that, I don't know that we have that here, but yeah, if we did. And did that for 2 years. I always seemed to be Mr. Play by the rules, do the right thing. And so they recognized that, and I got appointed to internal affairs. Oh. And so I was elevated to a internal affairs detective, investigator for 3 years. And that's actually the job I quit to move here.
So 3 years in internal affairs.
3 years in internal affairs.
What do you do in internal affairs?
You're the police for the police.
You're the police for the police.
Because who polices the police? The cops enforce the law. Who enforces the law on the cops? That's what IA is. And it's not like the movies, sadly.
Okay.
The cops don't all hate us.
Yeah.
Everybody bitches about the cops. Everyone likes to complain about the cops. Some places it's justified. But for the most part, 95% or more of the time, they don't do what they're accused of. And it's our job to either prove or disprove that.
Okay.
And so because most of the time it's just BS complaints, we disprove it, they're vindicated, everything's fine. Yes, on occasion, people do the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And in my case, there's one guy who's still doing prison time.
Yeah.
Because he was having intimate relationships with a 12-year-old.
Oh,
so
that
he's
is frowned upon in
obviously
society in
lost
general?
his job and is likely still in prison today.
Yeah.
But so it does happen, but it's rare. So we're the cop's best friend.
Okay. So did you like, because being a cop was a thing that you actually wanted to pursue?
I got to do both.
So did you enjoy that phase of your life, or?
I would do that again in a minute.
Nice.
In fact,
all right, we got a interruption. Give me a sec.
I know what that is.
Yep. Hello.
Hi, Harith. You made it. Cool. Is this something you're gonna chop?
Yeah, I'm gonna chop off.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like, screw it, I'll just keep it in. Make it real.
Why not?
Keep it real.
Basically, this is it. You got no light.
It's okay, I gave up with this.
Do what you can.
You want to pass him the red chair? over
Get
there?
some. You want a chair, or are you gonna be running around?
Yeah, the camera's right here, so.
Yeah, I'll just say
Okay. Get a few BTS type things. You don't need to stay for this whole thing, but then if you want, we'll take another quick break once you've got everything you need.
Yeah.
And then the only other thing maybe is that if you could get a shot of just coming in this door with us sitting here, like we're in the middle of talking. We can even fake it, but
Yeah.
I just don't want to hold Stephen up.
No
too
worries, no
long.
worries.
Just put this in.
Fix and post. Yeah, it's the bathroom, so I hope you don't mind. It's mine now.
It's a big
Bathroom,
bathroom.
it's mine.
Again, so sorry for being late.
It's okay.
Yeah, no worries.
That's a big bathroom. Damn.
It's alright. Yeah.
The GPS on my phone kind of
Died.
stopped. Yeah.
Oh man.
What the hell? Whose GPS dies?
It was because I dropped the phone. Like, yeah,
Eh.
Human error.
What were we talking about?
That you got to be a cop.
Right. And I got to do both.
And that you
Oh,
were-
well, I know where I was going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, do it. In heartbeat.
All right.
15 seconds and I'm almost done.
Yeah. So I don't know like how much of this I'm gonna edit out yet.
Yeah, it's all right.
As much as it is awkward and weird, I kind of find it hilarious.
Well,
Yeah, we have this like
it's that.
this is my third ever interview on this podcast. In
Really?
This rinky-dink little.
And so after this one, you will never do another.
It's like a cameras and paparazzi in here. What's this all about?
Hell.
Right? And now like suddenly like first time I had this comedian called Rakib, and then earlier today I had Sim Tong, and I've got you, and like we've got like Harish, right?
Harith.
Harif, we've got Harif here with like an extra camera and like a mic and all set up, like and a chaperone thing going on.
Well, you're famous, Steve.
I know, but I didn't expect
just-
the paparazzi to break into my house.
Just accept it.
It's alright, it's alright.
Go with the flow.
Yeah, but yeah, this podcast like I want it to be real,
Okay.
to be alive,
Yeah.
because I've said the same thing with like my two other guests, right? Is that I genuinely have a tough time socializing because I think you understand as well, right? With the nature of voiceover work and all that.
completely understand.
There's not much like long form interaction between people.
Yeah.
And when there is, it's usually small talk.
Yeah.
And I encounter that with the comedians as well. So I genuinely don't really enjoy small talk.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same way.
Right.
I don't socialize much. I mean, I live my life on Facebook as
Yeah.
if I were, the greatest showman on earth, and I'm out there and I'm, gregarious and all that stuff, and I love people and
Yeah.
everything. But honestly, I go to work, I go home, and I don't really want to go out.
Yeah.
I did the whole clubbing thing and the party thing back in my 30s
And it
and
gets
40s
very
and 20s.
old
and-
very fast.
Yeah, it does. And now it's just like I enjoy just doing a little bit of nothing and not a whole lot of socializing.
Yeah.
So-
And the problem with like that kind of small talk and all that, right? Like I genuinely don't enjoy it, and the problem for me is that when you do bump into someone and you're able to have like a solid conversation, there's so many distractions.
Yeah.
You like there'll be someone else there, someone will show you a video or something like that, and everything gets thrown off. Whereas like I feel like in this podcast format, it it's a lot more controlled. Mm-hmm. So like we're able to just like sit down and talk, and even when we have nothing left to say, there comes that awkward moment, and then if we're able to push through that, we actually go deeper.
Right. Yeah.
And it's the way I feel like to have like proper conversations and
Yeah. I mean, that's
socialize.
what a good conversation's all about.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
like, I'm talking about like not having distractions in this podcast. And it's not even like Harif. Just
Oops.
yeah. All right, fair enough. Instead of like coming and showing us a video, like, hey, look guys, check out what's happening. He's like taking a video, right?
Yeah. Good.
Behind the scenes, because apparently this is a big scene.
Well, we're gonna make it one, even if it isn't.
Yeah, there's gonna be like CGI. There's gonna be like, I think like 7 moons, a couple of clouds, Millennium Falcon. Yeah, the knockoff version, so we don't get into like licensing
Yeah.
issues.
just Get a copyright hit.
All right, so picking up where we left off, right?
Yeah.
So you were a cop, and
I was.
You go back to it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And the other thing you wanted to do was be a radio DJ.
Was a radio DJ, which I had already done for 20 over years, radio and television.
This was after being a cop or before?
No, before.
Before.
My first job, I was 18 years old.
Yeah.
And I had my first radio job. I had a weekend, one slot, Saturday 10 to 2 midday, at a little AM radio station. AM in the U.S. Was big at the time, still kind of exists and all. I'm so disappointed you don't have AM radio in Malaysia. I know you do, but
we have the AM radio setting in our cars, and every now and then you're able to pick up something.
Yeah, but it's weird. AM
usually
is
like
still
some other language and
a lot of talk shows, things like that. But back when AM radio was still the thing, FM was there, but it was just up and coming. So anyway, I had my first weekend job, 10 to 2 on a Saturday. That Monday, after I did my first ever show on radio, the full-time midday guy walked into the program director's office, threw his keys on the desk, and said, "I'm moving to Florida. See you. Goodbye." Tuesday, I had a full-time radio gig. Oh, God. It's one of those Hollywood stories,
it's like
I swear.
the best promotion ever.
Yeah, from Saturday to Tuesday, I was part-time one slot a week, full-time middays 10 to 2. Boom. And that
it's like you walk into like a successful business, right?
Yeah.
Like a shop or something like that sells, I don't know, like hardware or whatever. You go in there, I want to get a job. Okay, you can start by sweeping the floor, and tomorrow the boss just comes, throws you the keys. Screw it, I'm out of here. Take over. It's all yours.
You're the manager. Have a nice day. Kind of what happened. Yeah.
So did you have to learn on the fly or?
Well, I had gone to broadcasting school, so I knew the basics, but it's hard to teach radio. Yeah, without the experience. When I eventually became program director and I was hiring and firing and putting programming together, I will take somebody with 6 months of experience on the air over someone with a master's degree or a doctorate in communications, because it means nothing.
It means nothing.
Until you turn that on button and hit that mic and start talking.
And and this was in?
This was in Connecticut.
In
1976, 76.
1976, and already a degree wasn't relevant.
Billion years ago.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
But it's that, right? Like, I think a lot of people underestimate being a radio DJ. They think that, you just sit there, say what you want, and you just pick a song and you play it, right?
Not.
It's not that.
Yeah. And
one thing they forget is that, like, the amount of machinery that's in front of you, especially in the 70s, where it's
in those days, there wasn't any of this stuff.
Yeah, there's
nothing
no
was
MP3s or
digital.
whatever, right?
Everything was analog.
Yeah.
My first editing was with reel-to-reel tape. And a grease pencil and a razor blade.
Yeah. So
and,
if you made the wrong cut, you made the wrong cut.
It was gone.
Yeah.
That was it.
And folks, kids, that's where the term copy and paste
That's what it
comes
was like my day. Good nabbit. It's the good old days. But that was so I did some television. I did news, talk show, then got too old and ugly to be on the air anymore, so I went behind the scenes, started directing, producing.
No, I still don't get, how do you move from being a cop to...
No, being a DJ to a cop, it's when we moved to Florida. And there was only the one station. And I wanted to be a cop. And the best paying job actually there was the sheriff's department.
Oh, okay.
So that was, great. I had a job that I loved and something I always wanted to do. And the money was good.
So the radio opportunity wasn't there in Florida, hence you...
It was nothing. Absolutely nothing. And it so happened it was the best paying job in the Keys, was being a sheriff's deputy. So we did that. Then met a Malaysian, fell hopelessly in love. We lived together for about a year. Then the J1 visa ran out.
Oh, dang.
So they had to come back here. I came back, meet the family, see, I did, oh God, I hate admitting this. I did the typical Matsale, Malaysia? Oh, fucking Malaysia. I'd actually been to Thailand. And still I said, where's Malaysia?
Yeah, oh my gosh.
I'm an idiot. But anyway.
No, this is the fault of the Malaysian tourism industry.
Maybe it was the logo.
But I gotta say, for Jay, one big saving grace is that I have never ever seen you wear those baggy elephant pants that everybody gets in Thailand. I don't know if you own one.
No, I don't. No, nor would I. Nor would I ever.
All right.
Yeah. No. Or a straw hat. No. So I came over, saw Malaysia, fell in love with Malaysia.
Your arm is getting in the camera. Sorry.
Yo, dude, back off.
Sorry. Before Jay's face got censored.
Yeah.
Probably keep it anyway.
So I was here for a couple of weeks, fell in love with the country and the people and everything, and it was going to be a long distance relationship.
This was in 19...
It was 2002. 2002.
Yeah, it was a good
18
time.
years
Yeah,
ago.
it was a good time.
Went back, and about 2 weeks later, I said, I can't do it. I cannot be away. So I basically made the decision. I sold my condo, I quit my job, and a month later, I was at KLIA with 2 checked bags and a carry-on, and that was my whole life. May of 2002. I had a condo that the front balcony looked out over the Gulf of Mexico, sunset, and the back balcony looked out over the Caribbean for sunrise. Not a bad setup.
I know, and
a cool life.
You know, I don't know if you know this, but for most Malaysians, if like some foreigner, especially someone from the US, if they came along, swept our feet off, and fell madly in love, we want to go there.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Right. Because at that time there was no Donald Trump.
Yeah. And I wasn't that kind of person, that random kind of do crazy shit kind of guy. I was always planned, and is this going to work, or what's my options? Yeah. And I just had a brain fart and said, you know what? Screw it, no regrets. And I've always kind of lived no regrets.
Yeah.
So like I said, I wound up here in May of 2002, and what surprises most people is that I've never been back. Ever.
Really?
Not for one day,
Dang.
not one moment. The closest I've ever gotten is going to the U.S. Embassy here in KL to renew my passport. Because technically that's U.S. soil, but I've never been back, nor really do I want to. My life is here. It's been 18 years now. For the first couple of years, I was doing the 90-day in and out tourist visa thing and stuff, and then they started to get a little squirrely about that. I was spending all of my U.S. money and savings here, I was thinking I'm not going to get back in next time, and so a friend of mine who was a creative director for 8TV at the time said, I've got a little production company, maybe we can get you a work permit and a job. So that worked out. It got the work permit, so now I was able to stay for a couple of years, and we renewed that, and so that moved on. I was the voice of 8TV when that channel first started. I was the only at 8TV guy for all their promos. And then, was there for a while, worked with a couple of other production companies, now with Studio Voxel. We're also a production company that specializes in visual effects for film, mostly film. Yeah. We do online content and things. I'm still here and don't plan on going as long as they'll let me stay and work. I said it before, and I meant it, that I would give up my citizenship in a minute. There's a lot of reasons to hate Malaysia, but there's a whole lot more for me to love it, and I do. I'm not just saying that. I really, really do. I can see beyond all the politics and the BS and everything else.
Okay, 2 things. Number one, we're about 20 minutes into this podcast now.
Yeah.
And we've firmly established that you're here legally.
I am.
Yes. Number 2, which is my real point, I always... it's something I came up with like a couple of years ago, but I like to describe to people that Malaysia is just dirty enough. You know?
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah,
I have
like Singapore.
I hate.
It's too spick and span. It's too clean. It's too precise.
Hate me if you want, but I hate Singapore. To me, this is what I say: Singapore. If Disney ran a country, it'd be Singapore.
Yeah.
All the rules, all the regulations, everything. It's too clean.
It's too clean.
Too many laws.
Yeah.
Not to mention, you don't know if the neighbor is going to turn you in for something, chewing gum or whatever.
Yeah, but I think Malaysia, we have soul in a very unique way.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
I do, like, growing up, I watched a lot of American television, and when I'm in Malaysia, I can really see like the commonalities. Mm-hmm. I mean, there are big differences and all, but in a lot of respects, I do see that the people are very similar.
Yeah.
Like when you break it down, like Malaysians at heart are just like friendly people who, if there's a problem, like we don't like just complain and not move. We try to, if it doesn't move, we just like go around it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
As Whereas with other countries, sometimes you get that issue where like, yeah, there's a problem there, and the government needs to solve this, and everyone. And Malaysians, like, we just kind of take it as it comes.
Tak
And,
apalah.
just, and like people from like East Malaysians, I always like to compare them to like Texans.
Yeah,
Free spirit.
not far from the truth.
You know,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
you guys can like the peninsula can do whatever the hell y'all want.
Yeah.
We
Well,
got our own thing over here.
that's the thing about the States, too. People ask about what's the States like, and it's like, well, pick an area.
Yeah.
Because, from where I am in Connecticut, in the Northeast, very different. The South, completely, and not just the South. You got Florida South, Texas South, Nevada South, Southern Cal.
Yeah.
Completely different area.
Yeah, I had someone tell me like okay, like for people like non-US people, we keep saying that Americans don't travel. Americans don't leave their country. That's why they don't know so much about the world. But I've had people defending that statement, saying that look, like if you went to America, like even my friends who went to America, if you went to the different states, the differences are so huge
Yeah.
that you don't like. If you're American, you don't need to leave America.
Yep.
Granted, it's still the same country, but like every state, there's like so much differences.
I'm ashamed to say that I completely grew up on the East Coast, and I have not seen much, if anything at all, of America. I'd never been to the West Coast, or the Midwest, or South, other than Florida, where I was. So no, there's so much of it, and depending upon where you land and what you look at, unless you've got the time and money to do a cross-country kind of trek. You'll never see all of it. It's,
I like the thing now where like millennials are like coming over from America here to Asia. It's like, I'm gonna try to find myself because in 52 or 51 states, 52 states,
52,
they couldn't find themselves there.
Yeah.
So
I love the country. I love the people. I would give up my citizenship in a minute to be a citizen here. It's impossible. Even a PR is ridiculously convoluted.
it's
I mean,
tough.
in Singapore, they give them away with Happy Meals.
Yeah,
You want a PR? Here,
Yeah.
have one. Yeah, 2 for you. Thailand, not really that difficult. It's not easy, but not that difficult. Some of the other Southeast Asian countries. But in Malaysia, for I don't know, God knows what reason, they put up a lot of roadblocks. Especially, I understand why you want to be careful who you let in and who, but, look, I've been here 18 years. I pay my taxes.
Yep.
Follow the rules.
You follow the rules. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, maybe that's it. That might be
That might be the
it.
problem.
You might have hit on something there, pal.
We'll expand into this. I might actually have a different demographic listening to this podcast. Oh gosh. No.
So I again continued in voice work and back. Obviously, I couldn't become a cop when I moved here, having been one. Although, you know what, the Malaysian police force I'm exactly what they need.
Yeah.
I was a cop, and I'm good at marketing. And if it needs anything, it's a marketing campaign.
Yeah.
So I'm the guy. Hire me.
I remember. Do you remember when they first introduced GST, and then they
Yes.
had like the customs department do like a
Yeah.
music video?
Oh yeah.
GST.
Yep.
Oh god.
Yeah, that was lovely.
That was amazing. Malaysia, so much culture and like musical influence, and that's the best they came up with.
So anyway, the Malaysian police force would not hire me, of course,
Yeah.
and so I went back into radio, television, voice work kind of stuff.
Yeah. So how's because right now you do a lot behind the scenes work for TV and
Yeah, we
programs and
did. In fact, Sim, who was your previous guest, was on my show, Comediri, which we did for Astro Warner. That was a lot of fun. We had so many great guys on that and women on that show.
What drives you behind the camera? Like, is it a compulsion to craft out a vision, or
Well, I love telling stories.
yeah?
First, I love making people laugh. And I'm not really good at stand-up comedy or singing or,
I think you could do stand-up.
I maybe. People keep asking me, but I think my stand-up would wind up being like Stephen Wright.
Yeah, it works.
Remember Stephen Wright?
Yeah.
Just the one-liner,
one line
deadpan.
pop up, yeah.
In fact, that's my second book, which I'm trying to get published right now.
Nice.
We'll talk about that. But yeah, I love telling stories, and if I can make people laugh or cry or just be moved in one way or another, that's kind of where I get my inspiration from. I don't know, it's just something in my brain that doesn't click right or something. I always look at all sides of everything and try and find the other way of looking at something. So yeah,
That is a very like comedian mindset as well. Which I mean, comedians like in effect are a form of like storytellers,
Right,
In certain,
exactly.
in certain aspects,
Yep.
right? Yeah, and dude, like I remember like I think the reason why we hit it off every time we chat is because although our interactions are short, they are never on point. Like we'll come in looking at one script, and within like 10 seconds, we'll take it so far left.
yeah. Well, how would Hitler say this?
Is that what that's like? So it's a story
this were
about
read
two
by-
kids in a kampong.
What if this were read by a frog?
Oh, but man. So yeah, but I've always known. I know you have like this obsession with like Japanese stuff, right?
I
Or
do.
Japan.
I do.
So
I
was
had
Japan
to
ever
have.
in?
No, and I've never set foot in the country except for a layover in Narita
Really?
Airport. Yeah, strangely enough. My house is like a Japanese museum.
Yeah.
And I've been doing bonsai since I was a teenager. I've always been involved with bonsai. I couldn't bring my trees with me to Florida from Connecticut, so I let them to a good dear friend who was also into bonsai. And then when I got here, I started collecting a few trees here and there. So now I have another collection here at my house. But that's where my interest in Japan started, was the art of bonsai, which really is an art, in addition to the horticultural aspects. And so that study of the art of Japan and the style and the philosophy behind things. And I love old school Japan. My number one bucket list is to see Kyoto and the surrounding little villages around Kyoto, of the old capital.
But that seems like a very like easy dream to achieve. Like,
yeah, it's
cheap,
just
right?
with my time and money
I mean,
and,
before
and
the
everything is
coronavirus,
just
I mean.
yeah. Well, now,
It's cheaper now.
but yeah, and it's cheaper. Yeah. Come on in, wear a mask. But I have yet to go. I've just found the whole old Japan. I couldn't care if I ever see Tokyo. But the old school, while it still exists, and in some small
But what is
kampongs
it?
there, it does.
What is it about like
I don't
Japanese
know.
stuff?
I think it's the simplicity of life, the old Japan, the appreciation of life, beauty in the simplicity. I mean, it's their philosophy about how they look at stuff. And I'm also crazy about being on time for things, and that sort of stuff. And my punctuality, I'm always there or early for stuff, which is a very Japanese thing. And like I said, I've got a full collection of art and antiques and some. In fact, I have an original Hokusai manga woodblock print book. It's one of several volumes of a manga that he did. And it's one of my prized possessions. Hokusai, for those who don't know, is the fellow, you probably know him for the Great Wave or the red Mount Fuji print.
How do you get your hands on that? Was it like
I
eBay
have
or
my ways.
Googling on eBay and Amazon?
But I've got lots of sculptures and art and things like that. And I also do tea ceremony. I actually learned tea ceremony from a master in Boston back when I lived in Connecticut. And to this day, one of the rooms in my house is set up as a tea ceremony room, a tea room, and got all the equipment and everything. And occasionally for friends do a tea ceremony.
Wow.
So, yeah.
It sounds fun, man.
It is. It's a lot of fun. I love it.
Like when we talk about tea, like I have a thing with tea as well. I mainly like collect and drink Chinese tea.
Right.
I have a few pieces which I probably spend more than I should have.
Is this one of them? It's
Yeah,
actually
part of
really
it.
nice.
Yeah, it's a teacup. At one point, I was buying like teapots left and right to the point where I had like 20 or 30 over teapots, like Chinese teapots, and nobody needs that many teapots.
I have the same issue with chawans.
Yeah, and my wife was like, if you treated your teapots as nice as you treat me, you know, which I immediately responded to her, said, if I treated you like teapots, I would have a lot of women around me.
Yeah. You might not want to go there, pal.
No, but like I get it. Like with Chinese tea, it was really weird because my first dose of Chinese tea that really piqued my interest was this oolong from Taiwan. I remember it's called Da Yuling, which is like one of their teas from one of the highest mountains, right? It's like a greenish kind of tea, so it's like a little round little like pellet kind of thing, and then you pour water and it expands. Very nice. It was the first time I knew that, wow, like this is good tea. And when I came back here, I couldn't find it, you know, and I finished the stash that I bought on holiday, and I was like, oh my god, I gotta find like something that's good. So I started exploring and started buying and got deeper and deeper into the woods.
Down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, down the rabbit hole. And the weird thing is, like, down the line, right, I started hanging out at tea shops, and everyone, when you say you hang around in a tea shop, the first thing that, oh, this cultured person.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Excuse me. But actually, when you get there, right, it's really more like a stock market than anything.
Yeah.
Because everyone is coming in and it's like, oh, you know, how much is this particular one selling today? How much is it? I was like, okay, this it's a viable form of investment as well. So I decided, okay, maybe like start collecting a little bit more, squirreling it away, and hoping that I never have to sell it if the price goes up. But if I have to, at least like it went up in value. And it got me like some getting into this, like educated me a bit on like some history aspects as well. So like for example, like in Malaysia we always drink this tea called lopo, right? And it's like basically it's like the Chinese tea you get in like coffee shops, right?
Yeah.
That very brown kind of color type.
Bottom of the barrel stuff.
Yeah, and back in the day when the tin mining industry was like at its prime in Malaysia, because Malaysia was there were a lot of like Chinese immigrants coming to work in the tin mining industry. Chinese medicine shops would be selling these teas because it was medicinal, right?
Right.
It was supposed, and it would help like get rid of aches and pains or whatever, help you get through the day. And it was even part of like some of the workers' agreements that they must have tea. Yeah, you can pay me whatever, but you need to give me tea as part of the thing, right? And when the tin mining industry collapsed, a lot of the shops that had all these teas, because they were like these teas came in like big wheel and baskets and all that. A lot of them like threw it away, they burned it, some kept it, and the ones that kept it, this was probably the 1940s, 50s.
Right.
And I think in the 90s, someone like dug out like a stash, right? And put it on the market, and like one basket sold for like 6 figures USD.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wait, it's still good after all that time?
Yeah.
Weird.
So like with certain teas, like the longer you keep it, the better it gets, and the value goes up.
Right.
And as with antiques, because it's not being recreated, you know, it's not something that you can constantly manufacture, or even if you manufacture, it's always going to be different vintages and all that, right?
Right.
There is like a scarcity, and as time goes by, people consume it. So whatever you have that you haven't consumed that's aging and all that gets better, and
but when it's gone, it's gone.
when it's gone, it's gone. So if you have it and somebody wants it, then the dollars come out.
Welcome to Drinking Tea with Stephen and Jay.
Too much info that you did not ask for.
You see, that's exactly what we were talking about before. Am I supposed to go like this?
Yeah. No, that's fine. Yeah. But yeah, and now you have like a dog, right?
Oh my God!
That's like the center
Can
of
I
your
get
life
a Can I get a nap, please? It's all I need. It's all I want. My only want in life is a nap. I get no more sleep. Yes, I have a dog.
Yeah.
I had a couple of cats for a while. I didn't get a dog because a dog is a responsibility for life, the life of the dog. And it's because I'm here on a work permit only for a couple of years, or nowadays it's only 1 year, and we have to renew, and you're never guaranteed, which, by the way, talk about stress once a year. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Because like I said, my whole life is here.
Yeah.
And if suddenly I can't be here anymore, I have no freaking idea what I'm going to do.
Really? You haven't had like...
No, I've done nothing. If they just simply one year just say, "Nah, we don't need you anymore. Get out." Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, back to the dog.
Right.
I did not get a dog because it wasn't fair to the dog to make that commitment. Then my boss, Yasmin, came up with a brilliant idea. I need a godfather
You need a godfather.
for the dog.
For the dog.
In case something happens to me, so someone else will love and care for the dog that I trust.
So who is your Marlon Brando?
So Ryan is my Marlon Brando, my dear friend Ryan, and he's agreed if something happens to me, if I suddenly clutch my chest and fall over dead, or if I can't be here anymore and they throw me out.
Did he ever give you that speech?
No,
All these
no.
years.
All these
We've
years.
been friends. Never once have had a meeting
Make
house
you
of
an
tea.
offer you can refuse.
Now on the day of my daughter's wedding. You asked me to get you a dog.
So the dog has a godfather. If something happens to me,
All right,
everything's
that's-
fine.
yeah, that's good.
So yes, I have a Shiba Inu. Her name is her official name is Ichiko Mikoto.
Wow.
We call her Miko.
All right. That's,
It means like Ichiko is like number one born princess, and Mikoto is a princessy kind of thing. It's all very high and mighty sort of thing.
hoity-toity dog.
Right, which just means nothing because the dog is a pain in the ass. Okay.
It's a princesses are for.
Yes, and she is a princess. Shiba's are very strong-willed, very pig-headed.
Yeah.
And can I say pig-headed?
No, we say bacon.
Bacon-headed.
Beef bacon.
Beef bacon-headed. Yes.
Bacon is fine.
And she just, she's smart. She's only she was born December 1st, so what is she, almost 3 months old?
3 months, yeah.
She's already learned to sit and lay down. However, the whole come here thing, never mind. She had nothing to do with it. She sits there and you'll call Miko, come, and you'll see her ear twitch, so she heard you, and she'll just kind of look over her shoulder, give you that kind of, when I feel like it. It's like, wow.
So you got a dog on the outside, a cat on the inside.
Yeah, exactly. So, but she's amazing. She's
But
very.
I'm there with you on the like that whole thing about keeping a dog and not being able to care for it and all that, right? Because like I like pets. I've always wanted a dog as well.
Yeah.
But my biggest concern has always been that like if I'm not home,
Right.
I don't feel it's fair to like just lock up the dog.
Yeah.
If something happens, I don't have anyone to pass the dog on to.
Well,
it's
I've
a lot of-
puppy-proofed
yeah.
the house,
Yeah.
and she does stay home during the day. She's got pretty much the run of what parts of the house I want to let her in.
Yeah, that's good.
Only recently, literally the last couple of days, she has not left me surprises when I get home from work. So the housebreaking is going well, thank
good.
God.
At least some part of the princess
Yes.
is working.
But yeah, so she seems to be fine. Of course, it's wonderful to get home and get greeted by that,
Yeah.
excited, face-licking little monster that she
Like
is.
Shiba Inus don't have a tendency to like tear into the couch and that kind of.
No,
right? They're
so far
destructive,
not.
right? Yeah.
They're not. Yeah, they're not. That I've experienced. So yeah. it's
Because
been all
I've
right.
seen like houses where like people will like adopt a cat and in 2 weeks like they lose their couches.
Yep, the side
Yeah.
of the couch is all ripped to hell. And
Yeah,
everything.
my friend had he used to have a cat, and then had it for a couple of years. Had to give it up because his daughter was allergic to cats. Like they pinpointed it, and I was like, okay, there's no choice now. So the cat moved up to Penang to live with his parents, like my friend's parents, not the cat's parents.
Right.
So a couple of years after that, my friend got another cat, which I don't know, it's supposed to be hypoallergenic or like if the daughter got over her allergies or whatever.
Weird.
But it's
Maybe like an Egyptian hairless or something.
yeah, but it was very very furry. So it was a Burman, I think that's what it's called, and the cat loved him. And he loved the cat. And then after that, couple of years, the family had to move up to Penang.
Right.
Right. So they moved back up there, and he was like, "Oh, I could get back my old cat, reconnect, right?" So his mom brought the old cat back, and being the former, you go to the front door and you kneel down, bend down, and you
Right.
meet the cat, right? That Burman got jealous, ran right up to him, and my friend wasn't wearing a shirt at the time. The Burman just like clawed his entire. Oh,
Dang. Wow.
Jealousy for you, man. Jealousy. So yeah.
See? Stick with dogs, man. Dogs are where it's at.
Yeah.
Nah, she's great. Miko is amazing. She has her own YouTube channel.
What?
Yeah, she has her own YouTube channel. It hasn't been alive long enough to get a custom URL, so you just have to YouTube search Miko, A Dog's Life.
Miko, A Dog's Life.
I do videos with her, and
Does she do like? You should get her to do like unboxing videos.
eventually, yeah.
give her a
but
box.
For now, we've just got 8 or 9 videos up there. It's growing. It's a brand new channel because she's a brand new puppy. So yeah, and of course pictures all over my Facebook. So yeah.
Yeah. Like right now, people will be like, "Oh, Jay, that's so sweet of you. You know, you got like a dog. You got a channel. You love it so much." And then once the channel gets successful, right, you get another batch of people coming. You're just capitalizing on the dog, making use of it.
Yeah, watch me monetize this, pal.
Are you sure this is what the dog really wants? What about its future? What will the dog do if it doesn't want a YouTube channel anymore?
I'll tell you what. As soon as Miko comes up to me and says, "Dad, take down my channel," I'll get rid of it right away. Yeah, I promise. Not gonna happen.
Oh man, like all these like YouTube, like the way it has changed everything.
It has, but nowadays it's so difficult to create content.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, YouTube is kind of like the Facebook of online video places. Like Facebook now is all the old uncles and things, and not a lot of young demographic. There is still, but
my friends were like, oh yeah, remember like when Facebook first started, it was just college students, right?
Right.
So we were like, oh, that's so cool. And then like they opened it up to the general public.
Right.
People started joining in, and I remember very clearly telling a friend that, man, back then my Facebook account was just pictures of people like getting drunk and at parties and in college. And then they started graduating, and then suddenly like wedding photos came up, and then baby pictures came up, and then this friend of mine was like, dude, that's fine. I get funeral notifications.
No, mine just looks like a political forum. But and yeah, Instagram, which was all here's what I had for dinner in the beginning. And, it was just food shots, and now that's a totally other thing, and TikTok. Which
TikTok,
which is but I'm telling you,
it's blowing up though.
What I'm interested in, and the reason why I want to get involved in TikTok now, and yes, I'm 150 years old, but still, is that we all thought about that when Instagram came out. We thought, oh, it's just a food channel. It's a place to put a picture of your dinner, and now it's not anymore. It's something else. TikTok. Yeah, okay, it's a bunch of weirdos just doing some dance moves for 15 seconds, and you're over. I want to know what's that going to be a year from now, or at the speed things move, probably a year, but maybe 2 years from now, what it will evolve in. I have no doubt it'll still be around, but I also have no doubt it won't be a bunch of people doing little dance routines and lip syncing songs.
I think the trend with digital videos, right? The scary thing is that it's not predictable what people want anymore.
Yeah. And its life cycle is...
Yeah. I mean, let's take like children's programs, right? Like we voiced for quite a few cartoons and all. Some panned out, some didn't.
Yeah.
But who would have ever thought that something like surprise egg videos or like even like toy unboxing videos, pretend play videos would go so well?
Yeah.
If TV execs knew that all I had to do to get a following was just follow a kid around in their house and just let them play whatever. No need for like high budget effects, no need for high budget cameras. Sound can be completely off. Just build a box fort and a couple of toys and let the kid have at it, right? Like if anyone saw that would have worked, amazing. But the thing is that with YouTube, like no one can see working. Like there's one channel I check back to every now and then. It's called the Hydraulic Press channel. So this
okay, you had me at hydraulic.
Yeah, so it's literally a channel where this guy, he owns a hydraulic press, and he just crushes stuff.
He squishes things. That's it.
So he'll squish like a watermelon, he'll squish a hammer, he'll squish a marshmallow, batteries, anything you want. I think he squished a toilet once. I don't know. And then more recently, my friend pointed out this trend, this thing to me, that he's like, bro, what's a weird kind of video I watched that gets a lot of views? Car wash videos.
What?
Car wash videos.
Okay.
I'm like, why would you?
Washing your car.
Yeah, why would you want to watch someone
Not
wash their
half
car?
naked people.
No, it's not. Like, you'd think that it'd be like bikini
Yeah.
girls and that kind of thing, right? No, it's just regular dudes washing their cars.
Okay.
And
Are we that starved for attention?
I don't know. And at
Or
first,
entertainment?
And at first, I was trying to justify it. I was like, oh, wait, is it like a car wash tutorial thing? Maybe there's like auto detailing
How
thing that I'm
to,
missing out,
yeah.
right? And he's like, no, it's just dudes washing their cars. And it's like, I watch it because, like, it relaxes me. I'm like, what?
Okay. I'll admit something. However, I think I'm maybe a notch above car washing.
Yeah.
I love slot machines.
Ah, yeah.
I go up the mountain and make a deposit in the bank of Uncle Lim regularly. But I don't play the table games. I don't get them. It scares me. So I play slot machines. I know it's the worst thing. It's the best way to lose your money. But I'm good about it. I have an entertainment budget.
Yeah.
I spend that. When it's gone, I go. If you play and bet low, you can have a
do you
good
do
time
that?
for many hours.
Do you play that strategy where, like, you stand around and see who doesn't win for, like, a few rounds?
No. I will walk by a machine. It'll call to me.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
know.
it calls to you?
It calls to me. It's, over here. Give me all your money, Jay.
It's ding, 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 ding.
Yep. But, I love slot machines. Yeah. Getting back to the car washing videos, there's a few people that do slot machine channels on YouTube. Brian Christopher is one, bcslots.com. And I don't get paid for that. I'm addicted. All it is a guy playing a slot machine.
Does he own the slot machine?
No, he's in Vegas
right.
or in Atlantic City or in some of the Indian casinos in California and stuff, different places. And it's just he puts his camera on the slot machine, and there's another camera shooting him. And to be truthful, he's a great personality. He's very entertaining. But it's mainly him playing the slot machines, win or lose. And I love watching them.
But can you imagine if you were a TV exec?
Yeah.
And you're like, I want to tell a story. What's your
Right.
story? I'm a guy playing a slot machine.
Yeah, a guy
there's
playing a slot machine.
Just a guy playing a slot machine.
So if he'd played the slot machine and then went out and washed his car, maybe he'd have a real good channel. But so I admit I'm addicted to slot machine videos on YouTube.
Slot machine.
Yeah, there's
Everyone's
the
got their own
slot
vice,
lady and the slot queen and
Slot queen.
Brian Christopher slots. Slot cats. There's a whole bunch of them. There's a lot of fun.
Some of these videos sound like they should be on Pornhub.
Yeah, kind of.
Slot cats. Slot
It also helps with my addiction because the more I can watch it on YouTube, the less I have to go up the mountain and give Uncle Lim some more money.
Backdoor Slots 9.
Yeah. Title of your sex tape.
Oh man. Slot machine videos. That's the first I've heard.
But like I said, the life of these things, it comes and goes, and what the next thing is going to be. I had one post on Facebook that went that kind of viral once. It's only happened once. I've been on Facebook forever. But it was something that I wrote right after, I think, not the last Bursay rally, but the one just before that. And it really, I don't go because I'm a foreigner. I'm not technically supposed to get involved in politics and all that kind of stuff, much as I would love to. Always have something to say, but I always have to kind of bridle myself for, careful what road you walk down. So anyway, I wrote this rather long post on Facebook. It was as if Bursay was over and I was walking downtown with a friend explaining what happened and what went on here. And so I wrote it like that, like a story. And this was right after Bursay had ended that night. Put a picture of like an empty downtown under the LRT or the MRT or whatever, monorail. Excuse me. And I posted it. And suddenly, you know how on the side of Facebook you get the little notices, so-and-so liked your video?
Yeah.
And a couple were popping up. And then suddenly it starts streaming up the side of my screen. And so this was like 11, 12 o'clock at night. I woke up the next morning and I've got like 1,500 notices. And I'm looking, and as I'm opening my Facebook, these notices keep flying up the screen. And I don't actually remember. It was 20 over 1,000 hits and likes, and just shares was incredible. It just was amazing viral. Such a good
There
feeling.
was something you wrote.
It was just something that I wrote, and I don't even remember the year. It might have been
No,
2015.
what was it about?
It was about Bursay.
About Bursay?
Yeah, about Bursay, the walk, the march, the movement itself, and it took off, and it was crazy viral. What a good feeling.
Right.
It was amazing. It
Right.
was so good. Never had it before or since. But it was damn cool. It was great.
It's like a win at slot machine.
Yeah, it's like a high. Yeah, it's like a big win the grand. You won the grand.
Yes.
It was
You
very cool.
get satisfaction.
But you never know. I mean, these things hit, and Pineapple Pen.
Right?
What?
Oh gosh.
Yeah. What? So yeah, where those things go, where they come from, what's going to take off next?
Yeah.
If you could know that, we wouldn't be sitting here.
But it's odd, right? Because like everyone, if anything, I think like digital media has enabled like a lot of storytellers to come out of the free and do their thing.
Which is great. The
Yeah.
more people, the better. A lot of it's crap,
Yeah.
but there's some gems. There's some brilliant people out there.
Yeah.
We've worked with and found some people that they're just doing it for fun.
Yeah.
And yet they've got an ability to, whether it's to shoot it or to tell a story visually or to tell a story with script or whatever it is. I mean, it really there's some really, really creative people out there who sadly are not making any money off of what they're doing. They ought to be.
And
They ought to
speaking
have
of
a
money,
career out of it.
because like when it comes to like making all these videos and storytelling and all that, the art is the storytelling,
Right.
right? But the finances usually have to come from somewhere else, which is not story driven,
Yeah.
right? And usually it's either okay if you're gonna make a film, someone funds your film, and usually there'll be like brands and advertisers that want to get in on it, that kind of thing, or sponsorships. But majority of like the big scale productions we're seeing these days are all like brand driven and ad driven. Like especially with Hari Raya, Chinese New Year, and all that. I mean, we've all seen it. We've all seen the Raya videos
Right.
by Watsons or DG or whoever. Every brand is out doing this
TNB,
now.
whatever it is, yeah.
Yeah, and do you think that's like a boon or a bane? Like, is it a good or bad thing for the storytellers? Or because one thing, it's not like last time where like you had like 3 TV ads
Right.
from 3 big brands.
I mean, for the longest time, it was Yasmin and her Petronas stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe one or two others. That was the big one. And that was it. Now, it's funny you bring that up because I'm in the business of creating these kind of mini web films and things like that, coming up with the concepts for them, and then trying to pitch them to clients. Last Chinese New Year, just what is now a month ago or so, I was noticing how many kept popping up on my timeline. And from big brands, but from some small brands too. So I started keeping track and making a list because, frankly, it's my business. I need to know who's doing these things. There were over 56 companies.
56.
Yes, and I likely missed some.
Yeah.
But I kept really good track and I was researching who was doing them. And these were web films. This wasn't a 30-second ad or a 60-second ad.
Yeah.
This was a 2, 3, 4 minute or more web film for Chinese New Year, storytelling. Some of them sucked. Some of them were really nice.
Yeah.
Some of them were just, okay. But yeah, over what I'm sure is 56 different companies. All the biggies were there, the Petronas, the TNB, everybody. But some brands I never would have expected to do. The problem is, I think, I want to say great. More storytelling, more opportunities, more work for everybody, fantastic. Part of the problem is it gets so saturated, it's going to be, it becomes like, another one.
Yeah, right.
How many of these can we watch? How many do we go through? It's fine. The more the merrier, I think. We'll sift through the good, get rid of the bad. Quality will out.
Yeah.
But I'm really interested now to keep track of what's going to happen when Raya comes around and see what's going on with that.
Like, it used to be that everyone would watch like 3 or 4 big ads. Like during the season, and like, okay, that was a big one,
Yep.
And and back then ads were not something that people look forward to, right? It's always like, here's an ad, watch it,
Right.
you know, before you get back to your the actual thing you want to watch.
But wait, there's more.
And then,
Terms and conditions apply.
but when it comes to this festive stuff, right? Suddenly people actually go looking for
Yeah,
it.
look forward to it.
They're like, oh, I just saw this one. Oh, you know, I should check out this other one as well. And it becomes a thing.
Yeah.
Right? It becomes a thing.
Yeah.
And like, you know, people keep following and chasing it. I don't know whether it actually does anything significant for the numbers of the brands or just visibility or what.
No, but I don't think that's what it's designed for. I mean,
Yeah.
Petronas isn't trying to sell you petrol or fuel oil. Petronas it's a branding thing. You know, look, we look at this nice little 3.5 minute moment we brought you. We made you cry. We made you laugh. And don't forget, brought to you by Petronas, or sponsored by TNB. So those, it's a brand association thing, feel good kind of stuff. That's really the only reason it's out there is for the branding. They're not trying to sell product, and that's fine. That's fine. It's nice to provide that little moment of telling good stories. That in fact, since you brought it up, I've got a few shows that we're putting out there right now. We're doing a pilot. One.
This was not a planned segue, by the way.
No, or a paid segment.
Yeah. There's very little quality control. It also means there's very little funding. So
I've created
whatever the hell we want.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I've created a show called Random Acts Malaysia, and it's based on a show from Facebook from America that Mike Rowe, the Dirty Jobs guy, does called Returning the Favor.
Yeah.
So Random Acts Malaysia is about all those people who do these things they're just do-gooders. They do them out of the goodness of their heart. They're not doing it for money or publicity. The guy who feeds the stray dogs out of his own pocket, or there's a couple of a couple that gets their friends together and they go find a park or a waterfall that's all covered in litter and crap, and they just go in, volunteer on a Saturday and clean it all up. Just nobody thanks them. Hardly anybody knows they're doing it, but they just do it because they want to, out of the kindness of their heart.
And Malaysians, sometimes, like, Malaysians have the bad habit of kind of missing the point.
Yeah.
Like in the case of, like, okay, if a person is feeding stray dogs, right?
Right.
Like, instead of like, oh, this guy is taking time and money out of his own pocket to do this, like he's with all good intentions, like, but then people are like, oh, you're feeding strays and therefore you're adding to the problem. Oh, you're not, your religion doesn't really allow you to do that. Oh, you're just like, why can't you put, and everyone, and to me, I find it extremely frustrating because like guys, it's just someone trying to do good.
Just see past that for the good that it is. And,
what have you done?
Yeah, exactly.
What have you done?
Most of the time, you're right. The trolls and keyboard warriors that have just sat there in mommy's basement and typing out bad comments.
I believe that everybody at some point in their life, you will have this thing in you where, whether it's a situation of encountering someone someone unfortunate, or a situation where you feel that you can fix or solve, or something that that piques your interest, that might drive you, right?
Your passion.
I think a lot of times people walk past that, they ignore it. It comes and then they have that little spurt, and then they just then like 100 different excuses come up, and then they never move forward. So when you see someone answering that call and doing something, there might be, I don't know, but I think a lot of times there's a little bit of resentment. Hence why
could be part of it. You're right.
Negative feelings come up because really, like we said, right? Okay, this guy is trying to do good. What have you done?
Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No one can really say that I've never had the opportunity to help another person, or to do something good, or to do something that that will be beneficial for other people.
And it comes down to even something as simple as holding the door for someone when you're going into it. I mean, that sounds stupid, but it's not.
Yeah.
That courtesy of holding the door for the person behind you when you go in, or holding the lift before somebody's waiting to get on. Yeah. Those are just common everyday things we run into every day.
Yeah.
And some people just don't bother doing that.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, and that's actually gets back to the point of the show, the Random Acts show that I'm creating now. It's to do two things: to shine a light and to say thank you.
Yeah.
You know, for what they do. And they don't, you know, these are unsung heroes. And also part of the show is we always give back to them. In some way, we reward them for what they do. They didn't ask for it, but whether that's some sort of in-kind, like a year's supply of dog food for the guy who feeds the strays, with the group that did the Clean Up the Park, that's our pilot episode, we're giving them a bunch of gloves and a ton of garbage bags and some rakes to help with their projects. In some cases, also, we just give a cash. We give a donation financially to them to help.
But you guys are not
with
like,
their work.
like actively asking the public to.
No.
This is
We
not
just
like a charity drive.
no, not at all.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, we're just doing the show because we love the idea behind it, and we love the fact that people are doing this, and you know, we know Malaysians love those good news stories. So so
Malaysians are quite an emotional bunch.
yeah, we have a Facebook page which already, even without any content yet, has got well over 1,000 likes and followers.
Nice.
So check us out, Random Acts Malaysia on Facebook.
All right.
And like the page and stay tuned because we've actually got some Random Acts mini episodes that are going to be coming out very shortly. And to that end, talking about branding shows, looking for sponsors for the show also. It's a good branding association opportunity for
J. Sheldon, ladies and gentlemen, medium man extraordinaire.
for whatever company out there might be interested in hooking yourselves up with an incredible show. By all means, get in touch.
Yeah. And you have something else going on as well, urban.
We do. It's Urban Jungle Food. That's another one. This is a cool show. It's actually hosted by the Durian Boys.
Nice.
Do you know the Durian?
No, I'm mixing it.
There's two crazy guys who do a travelogue. They did a travelogue 2 or 3 years ago and then stopped, but they're going to get back into it. Love their style, love what they do. So we brought them on board to do our show, Urban Jungle Food. And that's, again, online show that's basically about all the good stuff here that we have in the urban jungle that you can eat. Moringa trees, wild ginger. I mean, yes, everybody knows mangoes and papaya. They grow in every street corner.
There's no reason we need to eat kale, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
There's no reason to eat kale here.
There you go. Best place for kale, in the garbage. They go out and they find, like, a moringa tree was one of the first episodes we're doing. And it's unbelievable. They're not that easy to find, but there's several of them around. And it's a superfood. If you wiki moringa, not just the drumstick pods, and that's what a lot of people eat, but the leaves have so much nutrition and good stuff and all this kind of stuff that's so good for you. And you can deep fry it, you can and mix it in with other vegetables and stuff. It's a superfood.
Yeah.
It's classified as superfood. It's a fun show. It's not this kind of a typical cooking show.
Yeah.
But they go out and find these things, get permission, of course, to collect a bit of it, and then they go back in their place and they cook something with it. So it's just kind of it's fun, it's educational, you learn a little bit about what we have here that's edible, how to find it, where it is, and then what to do with it, how to eat it.
Because there's so, in Malaysia, we're constantly looking to the West. Because Western, if anything, the West has done right, especially in the States and in the UK, right? It's exporting their culture via the media, right?
Yeah.
And that's why we have kale here. Like it or not, that's why kale is here, right? But locally, we actually have quite a lot going on. Like if we've completely forgotten about the Orang Aslis. Like they've been living in the jungles and the forests for the longest time.
Yeah. That's their culture.
Yeah, and they understand the herbs and the trees, the flora and fauna, the benefits, and whether some things are good for you or bad for you. That knowledge is indispensable. And
the medicinal benefits.
yeah,
of all that
and
too,
even from people even my own parents, right? If you there's stuff if your child has nosebleeds, you can make soup out of catfish and black beans. Drink it and I don't know, something will happen. Your body will absorb the catfish and black beans, and you turn into this no more nosebleed kind of Superman kind of figure. Or or even things like, like certain plants that we see that are pretty common, that
Right.
grow everywhere, but we don't know what to do with it. But like especially my parents' generation, they'll be like, oh, if you're having a fever, or if you're having a flu, if you got a sore throat, eat this,
Yep.
right?
Yeah,
And
I mean,
I remember I had my mom used to have this plant. In Hokkien we will call it poho, which is
Poho.
basically mint.
Okay. Yeah.
It's based on what I could find online, the English name is called the Indian borage. Right?
Okay.
Some people here call it oregano, but I don't know why. The leaf shares like a bit of a similar shape, but this is like pretty chunky. And every ethnicity has a different name for this plant. But when everybody sees it, they recognize it, and we all know that okay, if you take that, you boil it, you drink it like a tea or with sugar and whatever. Like if you have a sore throat or anything, or if you're just like congested, it just takes it all away, and it's really effective.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
It's never in the media.
Yeah, there's some stuff out there that will kill you, and we're not encouraging people to go out and just eat every plant you find on the sidewalk.
If you see cat poop and a mushroom growing out of it,
Well, then again, but no, but
Darwin Awards.
if you can identify them and figure out what they are and make sure you have the right stuff, then and that's part of what the show Urban Jungle Food is about.
Yeah.
Is how to find it, how to identify it, and then what to do with it after you find it.
There's so much.
It really is, yeah. And it's all local stuff. It grows wild in some cases. And,
Yeah.
Plus, we're looking at some of the neighborhood gardens, where the neighbors all get together in communities and kind of have a little space where they all grow their own food and stuff.
Yeah, I've heard of things like even certain species of like spring onion.
Yeah.
Apparently, like there's a genus that's from Thailand that's like different with like broader leaves and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool
Yeah,
stuff
there's a lot
out
of cool
there.
stuff. Yeah.
So that's the other Urban Jungle Food is the
Yeah.
name of the other show. Again, got a Facebook page. You can look it up, Urban Jungle Food, and give us a like. Check it out, and we'll have our first episode. I think is coming up sometime in the next couple of weeks.
Nice.
So yeah, it'll be out there.
So any more shows that you're working on?
1,000 of them. How much time you got?
This podcast has no standards. We got all day, my friend.
No, that's a part of what we do. I mean, we create the content, we try and get the eyeballs on it, and then go from there. And hopefully people will come in and sponsor it and make us a little bit of money so we can pay for the show.
Nice.
And go from there, yeah. So,
Yeah. So are you how much of you needs to be like interested in the project before you take something on? I mean, I'm sure there's stuff that like, okay, you do wholeheartedly, and then there's stuff that like,
because it's my job.
it's
It's my job I have to do.
Yeah. I don't want to be the one, but
I'd like to say 100%, but it's not. Yeah, you're right. There are jobs you do because it's your job and you have to do it. For the most part, I've been lucky enough that the shows that we do or the stuff we shoot is stuff that either I've created or I've co-created with other people and stuff. And so, I'm always passionate about it.
Yeah.
I love this stuff. Like Random Acts is a good example.
Yeah.
I so know this show is going to be a hit. It's going to be. People are going to love it.
The premise works,
Yeah. So you get very passionate about it, and yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of people forget. A lot of people who don't work in the creative industry envy the people working in the creative industry because, like, oh, you guys just get to be like creative and free all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah, because when you get situations where you are really just doing it for the paycheck, or you don't have any creative control, or your creativity has basically been like boarded up in order to facilitate the project. It's
Yeah. Well, another frustration comes from where, when we create something, it's not just we get an idea, it pops in our head and said, hey, let's go in the barn and put on a show.
Yeah.
There's thought behind it. There's what audience are we trying to appeal to, what demographic. In the case where maybe we're going with a specific product, then, what's that brand? Who's their market? What's their message? What's their brand image? What's their, what are they trying to put out there? And then what's the goal? You're trying to sell product? You're trying to just get a brand image developed or furthered on or changed? So, a lot of that goes in. A lot of research goes into coming up with ideas.
You don't want, like, if you're doing like an arthritis medicine ad, you don't want to be like making it come off like a children's commercial kind of thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, so you come up with something that is researched, well thought out for all the right reasons, not just something you pulled out of your butt.
Yeah.
And then the client gets involved.
And then they pull things out of their butts.
And then they pull things out of their butts. With semi-apologies to all of my clients. Honest to God, we don't just come up with this crap while we're on the toilet in the morning.
Sometimes we do. Sometimes
we do. But then we take that and we research it and we tweak it and we make sure it all makes sense and the whys are answered. And that's what we do. That's what we've been trained to do. That's what we have experience in doing.
And the best thing
you,
I like...
Mr. Client, let me keep going here because I'm on a roll. You, Mr. Client, make widgets. You make really good widgets. I would never tell you how to make a widget. I market your widget. You don't know about that. I spent 40 years of my life doing that. Yeah. I know how to market your widget to your audience. Don't tell me how to do that, and I won't tell you how to make a better widget. Deal? But no!
Oh, I love it.
Make the logo bigger. Yes. Can we make the logo bigger?
Can we make this ad more serious?
Yes.
It's getting a bit too funny.
Yeah. Could you read it with more ethnicity? Yeah. Could you do the American accent but make it local, Malaysian? That's my favorite.
Yeah. I like that thing when clients, they go in and say, we want something creative, we want something different, we want to stand out from the crowd. And then when you give it to them, they're like, can we just dial it down? And by the time they're done dialing it down, it just becomes like run of the mill.
It's like everything else. I'm a great example of that, a quick one. Yeah. A company here that distributes a very famous brand of toilets.
Okay.
Seriously. Said, we don't care. Go outside the box. Forget it. There is no box. We want as crazy as you can. Yeah. And so we came up with this concept and campaign that was basically called Don't Give a Shit. Forgive me, bleep it if you need to. Yeah. But it was a bunch of people close up on their heads who were obviously, how do I put this, having trouble going.
Okay.
Straining.
Yes.
Get the picture?
Yes.
So then there's a bunch of different ethnicities and male, female, and a whole bunch of demographically correct people doing that.
Yeah.
And then finally you know, it cut to black, you hear the sound of the flush, and then, I don't even remember exactly the campaign, but it was like, you know, now you can give a yeah. And then the toilet brand comes up. So, I mean, the basic idea behind it is that this was so off the wall. People are going to viral this thing.
Exactly.
Did you see that ad? Oh, my God, I can't believe they did this, you know, sort of thing.
It's so like the last toilet ad to go viral, right? The Squatty Potty. Have you seen that?
Yes.
The one with the unicorn
that
takes like a unicorn poop. And I was like, whoa. Yeah.
We did two, actually. We pitched them two ideas. And one was... as if it were a scene, I don't want to say it because it's going to ruin the kicker at the end. Okay, guy in 16th century warrior battle, having a sword fight, and an older guy, younger woman fighting against him, going up the stairs of this house. They run into all these things, and it's basically like in a modern environment, but with these characters that look like they came out of a medieval place, having a battle, and eventually one of them wins and opens the door, and inside the bathroom is the throne.
Yeah.
So, and again, the Game of Thrones music comes up, and so the battle, it's the Game of Thrones for the toilet. Okay.
Which works.
Yeah,
it
which works. Yeah. It's memorable.
Yeah.
It'll get eyeballs.
You could have made a TV series out of that.
Yeah, not as in your face or way outside the box as giving a, but it was there. So anyway, pitched them both ideas, and as you said before, that's just a little too over the top for what we're trying to do. Yeah, okay. You don't want outside the box, do you?
And then you end up with just like rolling shots of like the product you're selling.
Beauty shot of the toilet, close up of the flush handle.
This thing holds water and it flushes when you need to. It does everything you need it to
Comes
do.
in 15 colors, one to match your bathroom.
Yes, and the other to match your bowels.
So, terms and conditions apply. Yeah. Your mileage may vary.
Speaking of mileage, dude, one of the most horrific things I have ever seen. I remember it was I think it was like the wellness section of like Just Go, when it was still called Just Go back in the day.
Right.
And there were promoters selling this. And it was like, I think it's some kind of like bowel decongestion or something, some detox thing.
Okay.
Where they had like testimonials from people standing next to their crap with like a ruler measuring how long it is.
What?
And say this came out of me.
Oh my God.
And there was some that looked like they killed a snake.
This was a promoter at the end of the aisle, like with
No,
free
this-
samples or something?
No, this
Here,
was
you
a
want to
co-
try some of this?
This was a section, and all this stuff was printed material that
Oh
they
my
stuck on the
God.
wall. And I was horrified. It's still on my Facebook feed somewhere. So when the day it pops up, I'll share it with you. But
Can you imagine being offered that job?
Oh man, how much?
Oh, we'd like you to promote this product. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not gonna affect your career.
I was the brand ambassador for this.
Yeah. Oh God. But yeah, that was one of the most horrifying forms of advertising I've ever seen. I've ever seen. Oh gosh. And another one I saw last time. It was this cable brand. Right, they sell like electrical cables.
Oh, yeah.
So they took out like multiple billboards on like the North-South Highway. Huge billboards. And all it had was like, I think some pretty girl in like overalls.
Right.
I think like a helmet or something like that. And it just said like I think just said like ours are better than this, or like our cables are better than this, with no visuals of like the cables or anything. So you had no idea what they were selling.
That sounds like almost every billboard on the North-South Highway.
And the best part is the company logo wasn't even on it.
Could you make the logo smaller?
But now, thank goodness, like I think someone pointed it out to them. So now when you drive down the highway, you'll see. Okay, there's
Slap
a logo,
the logo on.
and there's the cables. There was like, okay, I have a feeling I roughly know what you're doing.
Where do these billboards come from, and who are these people endorsing these products on these billboards?
I don't know, and you get
I'm not talking about the ones like downtown KL or on the LDP or something like that, but on the North-South Highway in particular.
yeah,
Has
it's all these weird ones, right?
Who the hell? I mean, okay, look, I don't watch a lot of the Malay market programming.
Yeah.
I'm not like a TV Sembilan person,
Yeah.
not a fanboy. But still, you know, I've worked with a lot of the Astro people and done a lot of shows for Astro and stuff. So I know the whole, and a lot of the, Arifs and Alif and all those other crazy people. But who are these people on these billboards?
I don't know.
It's like the grandfather's nephew's son's daughter's manicurist best friend's son. Yeah. I don't know who these people are endorsing these products, and some of them are, face whitening cream.
the face whitening creams. I don't get it. I don't get those.
And like you said, cable companies.
Yeah.
Or some hair tonic or something.
Oh man.
And they spend $2.98 to have the thing printed, and it's pixelated and.
One good one I saw though. This is back in my hometown in Johor. It was it's for a printing company, and it's basically, I don't know if this guy actually owns the business or what, but he's like pretty skinny, looks a bit rough, lost a lot of his teeth, and it's just like it's his picture on the bunting saying that he can print your stuff for you. And it worked. His location was really obscure, but with all intensive purposes, if that was marketing to get noticed, I freaking noticed it right
There you
away.
go.
Yeah, it
Job
worked.
done.
Job done. Oh gosh, I'm like,
Weird.
thank goodness he wasn't selling toothpaste or something like that.
I'm sorry. Do you need to
No. I'm still
wrap
good.
it up and head out?
No, I'm still good.
Are you just kind of shooting this?
Kind of.
Okay.
All right, so Harif is he's kind of doing something.
Just trying to justify his existence.
What does Harif do actually?
I do a lot.
You do a lot.
So
He works with us for the shows that we talked about.
All right.
And does a lot of the shooting, some of the editing, all around creative guy.
Oh man, so that's a
And
lot.
and because I'm 128 years old,
Yeah.
and Harith is like 15 or something.
21.
Yeah.
Like there's a difference. Come on. Yeah.
I follow it. I keep track. I keep up because
Yeah.
my clients need to know demographic information and
Yeah.
what's hot with what and stuff.
Yeah.
It's why I know TikTok,
Yeah.
because it's my job to know that stuff.
Yeah.
But I can't know everything. So it's also really good to keep people around you who are cool
Yeah.
and who are connected and who are kind of into that whole
Yeah.
thing. So, I mean, everything is not going to come out of a Facebook feed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so by all means, and he's a very creative guy.
Also, I remember MySpace.
Yeah.
I'm good friends with Tom.
Well,
All right, so
Yeah.
Jay, I think we're gonna like wrap it up here. We're like an hour and a half in.
is
Just like
that all?
Yeah.
Wow.
We-
Did we have a theme?
Like I said,
We
there's
talked about like what a road jock show that was. Dang.
I think calling Roja is a bit generous.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe.
I think they're toilet ads that might fit this the description of this podcast.
It's a big pixelated billboard on the side of the. Maybe that's what you need. Stephen Bones everything. Slap it up there.
and just
Take out a
go-
few teeth and put your picture up
Just
on
sell,
the side.
what the hell?
Yeah. What the hell?
All right, so once again, the stuff you're plugging, you got your random acts.
Random Acts Malaysia, which is going to be
Facebook.com.
coming up soon. Yeah, check out Facebook for that. Everything really, because it's kind of a base. We've got other things. We've got Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that for the shows, but that'll all, Urban Jungle Food, the pilot for that, first episode's coming up soon. And yeah, Studio Voxel will be doing a lot of...
If you have
content
money
and stuff.
and you want to spend money to get like people to make a video for you, then Studio Voxel.
Yeah, we can do that too. We're creative people.
If you
Thanks
have
for the
extra
plug.
money and you're watching this and you're like, oh man, these guys, like Steven needs a better setup because it just looks like some kind of like, I don't know,
Can they write
acid dungeon.
Can they write a check to Stephen Bones Everything? Or?
You can, but I don't think anyone will let you cash it. They're like, no, don't fund this. Go fund yourself. Mother funder. All right, with that, Jay Sheldon, ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you.
Studio Voxel, Random Acts Malaysia, and Urban Jungle Food. on Facebook.
Absolutely.
Look out for it. Support. Thank you.
Thank you.